Hi students, so today we will be starting off with your next chapter in the cost accounting that is known as materials cost. Okay, it is known as materials cost. This is your unit 2. Now let's look into the chapter. So what is material cost? Material management is basically the function. Okay, it is basically a function which is responsible for coordination of planning, sourcing, purchasing, moving, storing and controlling materials in optimum manner so as to provide predetermined services to the customer at a minimum cost. Okay, so basically you're handling materials in a way wherein you are planning it effectively, you are coordinating it, you are purchasing at a very less price in order to charge in order to make sure the prices are affordable by all, and also to ensure that you are incurring minimum amount of cost in order to provide good quality of products by purchasing the materials. Okay, this is the introduction. Now what is the meaning of materials? Materials refers to all commodities. Okay, it refers to all commodities which are consumed in the manufacturing process. Now if you want to come up with a particular product, you have to go through a particular process, right? You will have to bring in raw material, you will have to convert that raw material into semi-finished good, then it will become a finished good, then it will convert into a product. So it basically means, material basically means all the commodities which are consumed in the manufacturing process. Okay, so however it is often used simultaneously to the term stores. Okay, basically even material is similarly it is used even to the term which is known as stores, which has a wide meaning. Okay, basically raw material basically materials has a very wide meaning. Okay, now it also means inventory. Inventory is nothing but it basically means your raw materials, your work in progress, finished goods, components. Okay, now this can be asked for 2 marks. Okay, now inventory is also nothing but inventory means your raw materials, your spare parts, your work in progress, your finished goods and various other components which are which are the elements of cost. Now the term materials refers to all commodity components which are consumed in the process of manufacturing. The materials may be classified into either direct materials or indirect materials. Okay, I hope this is clear to you all. Now moving on to your next topic, you have importance of material. Now, why is material cost so important? Firstly, it to ascertain the standard quality of the material, manufacture one unit. Okay, now even if you have to manufacture, you will have to see as to what on unit basis also you will be manufacturing, whether it is manufactured on 1 unit or per unit, how much is it costing and what is the quantity that you need to ascertain. Okay, in order to check the material. Next is add the standard amount of scrap. Okay, a scrap which is associated with manufacturing 1 unit. Now if you're manufacturing 1 unit, it does not mean the entire material will go to use perfectly, right? There will be certain amount of scrap also which will be associated with it. Next is determine the standard amount of scrap associated with setting up the production run and a portion to the individual unit. Okay, now identify what is the standard quality or quantity you require to manufacture 1 unit. Now see what is the scrap which is associated, then identify what is the standard scrap which is associated, based on which if any scrap is then sold, apportion the revenue back to the individual unit. Okay, even by mistake if there is amount of scrap which is sold, then apportion it back to the revenue back to the individual unit. Okay, so this is the importance of material. Next one you have is material control. Material control is nothing but how you are controlling your material, how effectively you are using that particular material without wasting the material, how you are storing it, how you're purchasing it, all of this will come under your material control. Okay, so basically it is a systematic control. A systematic control over, first one is your purchasing, storing, consumption of materials. Okay, firstly your material control is how systematically you're purchasing the material, how you are storing the material and how you are consuming the material, so as to maintain regular and timely supply of materials at the same time and avoid overstocking. Okay, and to avoid overstocking. Now, material control refers to the management function concerned with acquisition, storage, handling and use of materials, so as to minimize wastage of losses, derive maximum economy and establish responsibility for various operations through physical checks, record keeping, accounting and other devices. Basically, you're continuously keeping a check of the materials, you're controlling the materials effectively so that you do not want to interrupt the daily working of the continuing the day-to-day operations of the organization. Okay, you are ensuring that there is proper working of the organization and there is no stoppage in the working. Now, as we looked into the meaning of material, we also saw that there are two types of materials. One is your direct material and another is one indirect material. Now, in your next topic, you will be seeing as to what are the types of materials. Now, types of materials are classified into direct and indirect materials, okay? Now, in your direct materials is basically, direct material is basically those materials which can be conveniently identified, okay? These materials can be conveniently identified with a particular cost unit, okay? It is a part of finished product, okay? Basically, direct material, you can easily identify it based on the particular cost unit, and also it is a part of the finished product. For example, cotton, which is used in textile mills, steel used in manufacturing machine, familiar used in furniture, and leather used in making shoes, okay? Now, under your type of materials, you have direct material and your indirect material. Now, direct material is something that you can easily identify because it is a part of the finished product, right? Now, you will also look into the what are the features of direct material. Now, the features of direct material are, it is an integrated part of manufacturing unit, okay? Direct material is an integrated part of manufacturing unit. It is comparatively high, it is basically comparative higher than other materials. So basically, this material is comparatively a little higher than the other materials, okay? Now, direct material can be related to the unit which is produced. It increases in the same ratio and also in the production. So, there is known as variable material cost, okay? Basically, your direct material is also known as variable material cost because it is a comparatively comparatively higher in ratio, okay? Now, if a material is bought for a specific job process, then that means it is a direct material. If you're buying a particular material, suppose I'm buying this calculator only to make calculations. So, it is for a specific job process. So, it is a direct material, okay? Now, if the nature of the product is cannot be sold without primary packing, then the cost of primary packing will be treated also as the direct material. Suppose you have purchased this particular pen. This pen cannot be sold without the cap. So that particular part of packaging is also considered as direct material, okay? Now, if any material used in specific cost center, then that material will be direct material for that specific cost center, although it is indirect from the point of view of the total cost of production, okay? Now, let's move on to the next type of material, that is indirect material. Now, as you looked into the direct material, it is very simple for you to tell what is indirect material. Indirect material is nothing but it is something that cannot be conveniently identified within a particular cost unit, right? So basically, indirect material becomes a part of finished product, but in small quantities. Suppose my finished product is a calculator, right? So indirect materials are this button, the inside operating system, all of these within the particular thing which is used to produce a finished product is known as indirect material, okay? For example, you have nails which are used in manufacturing of furniture, thread used in manufacturing of shoes, etc. Now, features of indirect material. Now, in your features of indirect material does not change in the cost proportion to the production. Suppose in order to produce one product, it is costing 10 rupees. Now, indirect material is not affecting the particular cost, okay? So it does not, and also it does not become the part of the production cost. Even if it becomes a part of the production cost, the cost of indirect material is low than the direct material, okay? The cost of indirect material is very low even if it becomes a part of the production process when compared to a direct material, okay? So I hope this particular topic is clear to you all. Now next, let's look into the next thing, as we all looked into the earlier thing also, that is material control. Now we'll look into material control in a bit depth, okay? Now material control is basically, we saw as to how you, you need to purchase the right quality of material, the right quantity of material at the right place, at the right time, from the right shop, keeping in consideration what your budget is and what is the amount of material you require. Then you need to compare the prices, everything, right? And how you making the investment and everything as such. This is material controls. Now material control also includes the following activities. That is, firstly, you are purchasing and procuring the material. Second one is your receipt and inspection. Okay, receipt and inspection. Then storage, issue and consumption, valuation and consumption, valuation and accounting, and stock control. Now let's look into this particular thing in depth. Okay, now what is the purchase and procurement? Now, under your purchase and procurement, basically here, under your purchase and procurement, how you're purchasing the particular inventory and inventory or your material, and how you're procuring it. Secondly, you need to collect receipts from various stores as to what is the amount of material that, what is the amount of this particular calculator in one store, and what is the other in what is the amount in the other store. Okay. Now, after purchasing the calculator in bulk, where will you store it? How will you consume it? Okay. Now, how will you value this particular thing, and how will you account it, and how will you maintain the stock for the calculator based on the demand? Okay. This is known as material control. Now let's move on to your next topic, that is objectives of material control. Now what are the objectives of material control? Is to enable uninterrupted production. Now first objective is you need to make sure that you're purchasing right amount of material for the right job in order to produce the right product, and also ensure that you have enough material which is in store in order to carry out the day-to-day activities and operations to produce a particular product. So in order to avoid the uninterrupted production. Next is to ensure requisite quality of the materials. Now you need to purchase materials in such a way that you are not compromising on the quality. You need to purchase good quality materials, okay, in order to provide a good finished product. Okay, you need to not you should not you should not compromise on your quality and on the quality. Okay, so that is why you need to ensure that you are purchasing good quality of materials. Next one is to minimize wastage. Very important, when you're purchasing raw materials, you need to store them effectively. You need to see as to how effectively the material is being used, and you need to avoid wastage of materials. To minimize the wastage, you need to have good packing. You need to avoid all of these. Okay, you need to avoid careless handling, poor packing. You need to avoid all of this. You need to ensure that the materials are stored in a proper place wherein they are safe and secure. Next is to fix responsibility. Fixed responsibility is nothing but you need to ensure that any individuals are given duties. Okay, now one particular individual will be appointed to purchase raw materials. Second one will be appointed in order to store the raw materials. Third one will be make sure to check that their materials are used effectively and there's no wastage of materials. Okay, so you need to assign responsibilities to different people. Next is to provide information. To provide information is nothing but there'll be one particular person who will be responsible in order to maintain and handle the inventory, purchasing of materials, and storing of these inventory and raw materials and all of that. So this particular person will have to provide timely information to the top management, saying where the inventory is being used, what is the price that you purchase the inventory for, and how effectively it is getting utilized for the particular producing of a particular product. Okay, see, these were the objectives of the material control. Next is you have your advantage of material control. Now what is this advantage of material control? Is basically when you have proper and effective material control, you will be avoiding wastage. Firstly, you will be avoiding wastage. Secondly is uninterrupted flow. You can carry out your day-to-day operations effectively. Then it will reduce the risk of fraud and theft. Then you will be able to prepare the financial statements effectively, and also the valuation becomes very easy, and also it requires minimum amount of capital. See, when you are purchasing the right material for the right product, you will also, the amount of money that you are investing will also be very less. Okay, it fixes responsibility on the part of employees also. Now employee will also be basically there will be an individual who will be appointed for the material control. So these are the advantages of material control. Next, you have your features of material control. Now features of material control are almost similar to the advantages of material control, wherein you're checking the quality and specification of material. Okay, now you are taking into consideration what is the quality of material, and you're specifying it based on what is the requirement of the material which is required to produce a particular product. Okay, then what is the price which is given to suppliers, and when the particular product has to be delivered. Okay, then how much of investment you need to make sure that you're investing in a particular material. Then wastage, all should the wastage and the spoilage and all the lack of then how you're storing the materials also should be taken very carefully, should taken care of effectively, and also wastage must be avoided. It should be very minimum, and material should be classified effectively. Now material should be classified effectively. Suppose I'm purchasing 10 yellow pens and 3 green pens. Okay, so you need to classify, these are the 10 yellow pens which I have. Now these are the green pens or the blue pens, and you have 3 pencils and all of that. You need to classify it accordingly. Okay, so it is also important that classification is also very important. Next one is your material procurement. Material procurement is nothing but how you are procuring the material, how you are purchasing the material. Okay, how you are procuring the material. That is how you go to the supplier and how you purchase the material from the supplier. Now there is a procedure for the procurement of materials. Now what is the procedure for the procurement of materials is firstly is receiving purchase requisition. Receiving purchase requisition is basically, see, for this particular pen, if I want to purchase, there will be so many number of people who will be selling this particular pen. So I have to collect information from all the people who are selling this particular pen, which I require in order to produce my product, right? So after, I will have to receive a purchase requisition. I will have to receive the information and requisition from the various suppliers of this particular pen. Next is inviting quotation and inquiries. I will also ask them to send me the quotation. Quotation is nothing but the price of the pen. What is the price of the pen and what is the discounted price that they are ready to give. Suppose this one pen is costing me 10 rupees, okay? So I will ask them what is the amount of discount you are going to give me. They will tell 2 rupees discount. So the cost will come up to 8 rupees. So I will be taking quotations from various number of suppliers of this particular pen. And I will be inquiring to various number of suppliers also. Then after receipt of quotation is nothing but once they send you the price of the pens, okay, that they are going to that they are ready to give you 100 pens at this particular price, and this is the amount of discount and all of that giving. Then financial and placement of purchase order. Then if you are satisfied, you will receive a number of people who will send you the quotation. Now suppose you will go for a good quality, and you will also see that you are getting effective amount of discount also, and you are saying that you are giving your capital is also not too much, okay? So you will go and place that particular order for that particular pen. Now you will follow up the order unless you receive the order for the pens, okay? And also follow up the payments. Once you receive the order, you will make the payment of this particular, suppose you're purchasing 100 pens, you will make the purchase of 100, you'll make the payment of 100 pens, okay? Follow up and advances in case of rejections and replacement. Suppose if you get 1 or 2 pens as a damage, okay, so you will reject it and you will get it replaced for the particular thing. So this is the procedure for the procurement of materials, as to how you follow it and how you purchase and procure the materials, okay? Now, you have various documentations which are involved in the procurement of materials. Now, what is the documentation? Documentation is nothing but you need to write down everything. You need to have a proof of everything, right? So, the following are the documents which are required in the procurement of material. That is bill of material, materials requisition note, purchase requisition note, purchase order, and goods received note. So, these are the various bills that you required, which are involved in documentation, which are required for the procurement of material. Now, what is bill of material? Bill of material is nothing but it is a list of raw materials, okay? It is a general list of raw materials, components and instructions which are required to construct, manufacture and repair a goods and service, okay? It is a material which consists of, suppose you go to any shop, right? The shopkeeper will prepare a bill saying you purchased 1 kg sugar, tea leaves and everything. So it is a general list which you are getting for the purchase of materials. That is bill of material. Now, material requisition note looks like this, okay? Material requisition note basically looks like this. It is basically issued for production against the store's requisition, okay? Now, basically, you will not understand all of this, but people who are already involved into businesses, you will, once you purchase something, this will be a note which will be given. That is, it will have your department, which department is issuing, what is the work order number. You will have your serial number, you will have your date, then what is the description of material, whether it is pen or anything. This particular pen will have a code number, and what is the unit? Unit is 1. What is the quantity? Quantity is again 1. The quantity issued, what is the price? Suppose it is rupees 10, and what is the value? Again it is rupees 10. So you will have to fill in this particular thing. Then checked and authorized by, you will have, suppose if I am issuing, I will write my seal and signature. By then entered in the bin number card, storekeeper, office use, store ledger, folio number, and priced by. So this is the particular format of the bill material requisition note, okay, which it will be basically issued against the store requisition. Next, you have your purchase requisition. Purchase requisition is also having similar entries like the material requisition, but the only thing here that is different is here you will have your company, you will have your purchase requisition note. Then to the purchasing department, please purchase the following. Then you will have the requisition number, you will have the date. This might be asked in the exam for the particular format, so you will have to draw it also. You will have your item number, code number, description of material, unit, price, quantity, amount and date of requirement, and within the following details. Now, purchase of materials are initiated through purchase requisition, okay? Now when you are when you take the particular when you're carrying out the inquiry from various shopkeepers and everything, after you're carrying out the inquiry, after you're satisfied, you will place an order. So that time your purchase is getting requisited. Okay, a document known as purchase requisition is basically commonly used as a formal request to the purchasing department. So now you are giving a formal letter to the purchasing department saying, I want to purchase 10 pens of the costing rupees 100 or something. So it is a formal thing that you're giving to the purchase department. This is your company and you are submitting this particular letter to the purchasing department stating what is the number of what is the item you're placing an order for, and what is the amount of quantity and everything. So what are the details it consists of? It is number and date of requisition, name of the department issuing it, description of material, signature of the person initiating the purchase, signature of authorizing executive, and format of this is the particular format. Okay, that is your purchase requisition. Now similarly, you will have your purchase order also. Now under your purchase order, it is basically how you're purchasing, and in the specified materials, it is basically you are giving a written letter to the supplier saying that you want this particular quality of materials, and this is the amount of quantity that you are requiring, and this is the particular format of the purchase order. Okay, next you have goods receive note. Good receive note is nothing but this is the particular note which will be given by the supplier to the purchaser. Okay, when you are receiving the materials, once he supplied the amount of quantity and quality of products which is of raw materials which are required by the purchaser, this is the goods received note which will be supplied by the seller. Okay, this is the format of the goods received note. Now next is your material storage and records. Now material storage and record is nothing but you will have a stores in a particular thing. Okay, in a particular company you will have something known as store. Now store is nothing but it is a storage room where all the materials are stored. Okay, it basically your storage and records, your stores ledger will show you the record of materials wherein you are now what is the suppose you've purchased materials, right? You will have to keep all the receipts of the materials in order to enter all of the amounts in the financial records while preparing a balance sheet or the profit or loss statement. Okay, your issues and balances, your quantities and value, everything is maintained by the costing department outside the control of stores ledger. Okay, all the information will be maintained in your stores ledger. Suppose how you record all your profits and losses, similarly you will record all your purchases and returns, everything in the stores ledger. Okay, based on the storage. Next one is storekeeping. Storekeeping, according to Alfred and Beatty, it is nothing but storekeeping is that aspect of material control which is concerned with the physical storage of goods. Okay, it is only concerned with the physical storage of goods. Now basically this has a following objectives. Now why do you want a storekeeping? Why is storekeeping so important? It is basically because you want it to be efficient and economical, and you need to make sure that you have enough store in the room, perpetual stock taking, so that you avoid so that you have proper carrying of day-to-day activities and operations, protecting the material from all possible calamities, minimizing the cost of storage, proper handling system to be adopted, and clearing all the requisitions which are placed by the several departments at times. Okay, based on which you will have your various stores, how effectively it will be maintained. Now you will have your duties of the storekeeper also. Now what are the duties of the storekeeper? He will have to issue the materials from the store against the authorized requisition, to keep the store clean, to train the workers, to protect the materials from getting from theft and any other activities, to conduct stock taking, maintain all the stores record, to allow materials in store after proper inspection, to make sure that you are not keeping any goods which are which are damaged or anything as such, not to allow strangers into the room, keep material handling changes to the minimum, and store goods in keeping appropriate place. Okay, but right material should be kept in the right place. Suppose this is you'll have different racks to maintain. So suppose the calculator has to be maintained in the lowest rack, all the calculators will be kept in the lowest rack. The pens have to be kept on above, everything will be kept as per it is instructed. Next you have a bin card. All this you will only have to know what is the particular format of the bin card. It is basically how the materials are kept in various bins or containers. It'll basically be like a box wherein all the materials are stored. Okay, as how you are classifying and storing the materials. Similarly with your stores ledger, how the stores ledger is prepared and how the necessary information is maintained in the stores ledger. This is the particular format. Now stock control card is nothing but how you are maintaining the stock of the inventory. Suppose now you had 100 pens, out of which how many pens are used and how many pens are left out, whether it is important to place an order again. All of that will be maintained in the stock control card, and this is the particular format of the stock control card. Okay, now procedure for material issues. Now, what is the procedure for material issue? Firstly, you're issuing on request. One particular department, your HR department, will come and request for pens. Okay, so you are issuing the materials on request. Next is issuing issue per schedule. Okay, on scheduling basis. Like this month, you had to give every department four pens. So as per the schedule, you are issuing them. Next, impressed issues is nothing but it is basically for tools and components. It is basically you. There will be various industries which will be involved in various spare parts and all of that, right? So impressed, you are issuing in terms of tools and components. Replacement issue is nothing but how you are replacing it in case if it is damaged or if it is if it is not working properly. And loan issues is basically if the material is issued on the credit basis. Now, documents used in materials issued, it is material requisition note, material transfer, and material return note. Okay, now material requisition is nothing but you are issuing a particular note for requisiting a particular material. You're taking a particular material or inventory. If you're picking it up, that particular note will be given to you. Transfer note is basically if you're transferring from one job to another or department to another, material transfer note will be given to you. And this is the particular format for it. Okay. Now, valuation or material issue is nothing but how you are going to value whatever material you've issued, what is the price and what is the thing. Now, in your valuation, you will have two methods, that is first in, first out, and last in, first out. Based on this, you will solve various problems and average pricing methods. Okay, to find out the cost of materials which are issued from the several methods are used, the choice of cost method should be based on the nature of thing. Now, when you're valuing your material issued, how will you value it? You will value it on first in, first out method, last in, first out, and average pricing method. Okay. Now, next part will be continued when we are conducting when we will be taking your practical classes. All this will be explained to you.